When you're looking to optimize your user experience for mobile devices, you might be focused on things like responsive design. However, are you thinking about this word, delight? The next person I'm going to interview is. Hi, I'm Daniel Burstein, Director of Editorial Content at MarketingSherpa. We're here at the MarketingSherpa Media Center at IRCE. I'm joined now by Gregory Casey. He's a user experience designer and experience architect at eBags. Thanks for joining us, Gregory.
My pleasure, thanks for having me.
So a lot of UI guys, probably if they're looking to build a mobile experience, they're going to look at data, they're going to look at their analytics and these sorts of things. But to learn about what the customer really wants, you did something a little non-traditional. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, sure. After we had designed our mobile and tablet experience, I wanted to run some contextual user research, which basically meant seeing how people are using it in the wild, seeing how people are using it in their homes. So that's exactly what I did. I found people who were willing to allow me into their home, and I just always told people where I was going so I didn't end up in a basement somewhere. But you have all of these other factors that you don't get when you interview somebody in the usability lab. There is the TV's on and the kids are asking questions. During these interview sessions, a lot of times we were interrupted by, say, a child coming over and the mother having to do something for the kid, or a telephone call. So the experience isn't sovereign. It's not something where they just sit down, work through a particular user flow and complete their interaction.
That's so great, because with so many of our websites, we work on them non-stop, and we're so focused, and we think they notice every little thing and button, but that's not really how the customer is experiencing the website. It's in this super distracted environment, right?
Exactly, right. Who is it? Is it Jared Spool says 80% of your users use 20% of your site's functionality? So we wanted to see what people were using, how they were responding to the adaptive design that we sort of baked into our mobile and tablet experience.
You mentioned adaptive. I want to make sure we talk about that word. You said you didn't want it to just be responsive, you want it to be adaptive. Can you explain to the audience what the difference is and why you chose that?
Certainly. So responsive design is really reflowing your content for the viewport size. Making sure that users don't have to pinch or expand to view essentially what is your desktop experience. And that's great. That takes you a very long way towards making your site accessible. But it also ignores the mental model of the user. It ignores the fact that users expect certain types of interaction behaviors on a tablet or on mobile, so swipe gestures, for example. So what we did with Adaptive is we found the places where that was probably going to be where we had the greatest opportunity to mimic the conventions that people are used to, so that it's not just adapting your content, it's adapting to your technology.
And adapting to the way the customer actually wants to experience the site, the mobile device, it sounds like.
Yeah, we certainly hope so.
Okay, so what did you come up with?
Well, we actually found, like I said, we did this, I went and did the contextual user research, and we've also done some usability in our lab. The interesting thing was, we kept seeing that the way people were shopping for different products varied dramatically. So somebody shopping for luggage, very direct focused experience where they want to say, I want 2 wheels, I want a hard side, I want X, Y, and Z. But when it came to shopping for handbags, people were doing just that. They wanted a shopping experience. They didn't want a search experience. So, and I think a lot of times in e-commerce, we tend to think of shopping and searching as almost synonymous.
Yeah, that's a really great point. And when you think about it, it makes sense, because actually going out into the world, when a woman's looking for a handbag, probably she's actually wanting to look through and get an experience and feel them and perhaps have that element of discovery, right, which search would overlook.
Exactly.
So as I understand it, the way it works, and is it an app or is it actually the site?
It's actually the site. It's a website. It's been released in beta, but it's called eBags Obsession. And we tried to design this experience custom for mobile and for our handbag shoppers. So what we found is this, unlike the very focused discovery for handbags, people wanted serendipitous discovery, stumbling across things they hadn't expected before, brands they might not have known. And so what we do is we have a large image, the user can swipe it to love it, or swipe it the other way to leave it and get rid of it. It's immediately followed by another bag. And so there's an immediacy there. And what we're trying to do is really speak to the visceral response. So in order to do that, we've also stripped away some of the decision-making information that's typical in a site, where we have different colors. Okay, here are all the different colors for this bag. Here's the price for this bag. Here's the dimensions of this bag, and here are alternate images. The user can still get there further down in the process, but we wanted that immediacy of people seeing it and just saying, oh God, I love that bag. And it created this, what we're always looking for in usability is it useful, is it usable, and does it instill a delight, right? Is there delight in the interaction? Something unexpected. So we have seen that for certain users, that's definitely the case. They responded quite well. We do have a feedback link on the beta, so we're getting our info directly from the customer.
I think delight, that's such an awesome kind of metric to put in there. Because sometimes e-commerce sites, when you're talking about usability, they're just talking about how quickly can we get that conversion, how can we clear the path and get them to that conversion on many different devices. So as we talked about, you learned about what the customer wanted by almost kind of being an anthropologist, going out in the real world, not just looking at the analytics and data. However, with what you created, it sounds like you've created a very data-rich experience. So how are you using the data that you get from this?
That's a great question. So right now with it in beta, the actual application of the data hasn't really been put into play. So we have plans on, and I certainly have my ideas of where I would like to see this go and how the experience should tie into the site more closely. But we are definitely pulling a lot of data. We have seen a definite uptick in conversions among those who use eBags Obsession versus follow our traditional discovery path. So that's all been positive. Plus we're seeing a lot higher active interaction. So we don't know if somebody's just leaving the site up. We actually have seen a lot of that as people are shopping and they see something they like, they open up a new tab and they leave it there. But we're seeing averages of 75 to 100 swipes, either like or dislike, per session, which is a much greater interaction than we would typically get on our traditional path.
Great, so it sounds like if you're talking about user experience, sometimes we overlook this. Focus on what the user actually wants and focus on creating a really engaging experience.
Exactly.
Excellent. All right, well thank you, Gregory. And
My
thank
pleasure.
you for watching. And you can learn much more tips and tactics and see marketing case studies and marketing industry data at MarketingSherpa.com.